Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this video let us discuss about the active immunity and passive immunity, then about the allergy, what are the causes for allergy, what is an allergen, what are the symptoms of allergy and the immune reactions. Okay, so let us start with the active and passive immunity. So first thing is about the active immunity. Active immunity. Okay, so you know that immunity is broadly classified into two kinds. One is innate immunity, another one is acquired immunity. So we have studied about the barriers of innate immunity and also the acquired immunity. So where you studied about antigen and antibody reactions. Okay, and also the structure of an antibody molecule. So it is a Y-shaped protein molecule, mainly consists of 4 polypeptide chain. Among the 2 are long and 2 are short chains. Okay, so majorly the antibody molecules are of different types, like 5 different types of antibodies can be seen, like IgA, IgD, IgE, IgM and IgG, isn't it? So continuing with the same topic, in acquired immunity is broadly classified into two types. One is active immunity and another one is passive immunity. Okay, in acquired immunity there are two kinds. One is active immunity, another one is passive immunity. Passive immunity. So let us discuss one by one what is this active immunity and what is this passive immunity. So they comes under acquired immunity. Okay, it means the immunity that is acquired during the lifetime. The person develops immune system, or the person develops immunity or the resistance power when he exposed to antigen, that is what is known as acquired immunity. In that there are two categories can be seen, one is active immunity and another one is passive immunity. Okay, so the first one is active immunity. See, active immunity is nothing but this is an immune response. This is an immune response. Developed immune response. This is an immune response. Developed response. Developed in an individual. Immune response developed in an individual. In an individual. Immune response developed in an individual when exposed to antigen, when exposed to antigens or due to administration of vaccines, that is what is called as vaccinations, or due to vaccinations. What is an active immunity? See, active immunity is nothing but it is an immune response developed in an individual when the person exposed to antigens or due to administration of vaccines. That process is what is called as vaccination. Andre, it is just like the acquired immunity. It means the immunity gained during the lifetime of an individual or obtained during the lifetime of an individual. So in that, as I said, there are two kinds. One is active and another one is passive immunity. Active immunity means the immune response is developed in an individual. Andre, antibodies individually formation agute. Antibodies are produced in the body of an individual when he or she exposed to the antigens or due to administration of vaccines. Andre ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನ್ಸ್ ನ ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಆಗಿರಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ ನಾವೇ ಯಾವುದೋ ಆಂಟಿಜನ್ ಜೊತೆ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆದಾಗ ಆಗಿರಬಹುದು. Okay, suppose an antigen enters into our body, the body will develop the immune response. ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿ ನಲ್ಲಿ immune response develop ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Immune response ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Immune response is nothing but the generation or the formation of antibodies against a specific antigen. ಯಾವ ಆಂಟಿಜನ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೋ ಆ ಆಂಟಿಜನ್ ಅಗೇನ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಆಂಟಿಬಾಡೀಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ದ cell mediated immunity response that can be observed. Cell mediated immunity response is nothing but directly the cells are participating in the immune response, like the macrophages, the T lymphocytes, the monocytes and other cells. Okay, so where the immunity is generated in the body when the person exposed to antigen or due to administration of vaccine. Andre ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನ್ ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ, say for example diphtheria vaccine or tuberculosis vaccine or polio vaccine. When vaccines are administered into the body, our body will generate the immune response against that particular pathogen or against that particular vaccine. Suppose if we are administered with the polio vaccine, where our body generates the immune response, it generates the antibodies against the polio virus. Suppose if you are administered with the diphtheria vaccination, so where the body will generate the antibodies against the diphtheria pathogen. Okay, so it means active ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿನಲ್ಲೇ ಇಮ್ಯೂನ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗುವಂಥದ್ದು. automatically the body will produce antibodies, but it takes some time. It is not of shorter duration or it doesn't give immediate response. ಇಲ್ಲಿ immediate response ಬರಲ್ಲ active immunity ನಲ್ಲಿ. It takes time. ಯಾಕೆ immediate response ಬರಲ್ಲ? Because pathogen body ನಲ್ಲಿ enter ಆಗಬೇಕು, the pathogen should multiply, and where the body should recognize the entry of the pathogen. After that, the cells should multiply. Our body cells, they should multiply, and they should produce antibodies and other molecules which are responsible to fight against the pathogen. So all those reactions that should take place. Once the antigen enter into the body, our body doesn't produce the antibodies immediately. It takes time. Okay. Hence, the active immunity, it is not a sudden process. It takes time. Once the vaccination is injected, or the vaccine is injected, or the antigen, the live antigen is entered into our body, the body takes time to generate the immune response. And once it is generated, it may be of shorter duration or it may be for longer duration. It may be for lifetime. For example, in cases of measles, okay, so where in cases of measles, a disease, where the body will generate a lifetime immunity, a lifetime immune response. Once the body is counteract with the measles vaccinations or if the live pathogens, the body will generate the lifetime immunity. Okay, it means the active immunity, it may be for shorter duration or it may be for longer duration, but it takes time to generate. It takes time to develop in the body. Okay, so that is what is called as the active immunity. Remember, the immune response developed or generated in an individual when the person exposed to antigen or administered with the vaccination. That is what is called as active immunity. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು ತರ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ನಾವು active immunity ನಲ್ಲಿ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಇಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಆರ್ಟಿಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಇಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಇಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ the immune response developed in an individual when exposed to antigen. Antigen ಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಮ್ಯೂನ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಇಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಅವರ್ ಬಾಡಿ. ಹೊರಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ನಾವೇನು ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಪ್ಯಾಥೋಜನ್ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಫಾರಿನ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಅದ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗಿರೋಂಥ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಇಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆದರೆ, ಇಮ್ಯೂನ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಜನರೇಟ್ ಆದರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ active immunity ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So then what is artificial active immunity? Artificial active immunity is mainly due to the administration of vaccines or toxoids. Toxoids ಅಥವಾ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಇದೇನಂತ ಆಮೇಲೆ. So administration of vaccines or it may be due to the entry of toxoids into our body. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆರ್ಟಿಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ಜನರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಇಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿನ ನಾವು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ. ಈಗ there are different kinds of vaccines are available nowadays, isn't it? So for different kinds of diseases like polio or tuberculosis or diphtheria, there are varieties of vaccines are available in the market. So when the vaccines are administered into body, when body develops a resistance power, that is what is called as artificial active immunity. It means the immunity or the immune response developed due to administration of a vaccine. That is artificial active immunity. Okay, so this is one type in case of the acquired immunity, that is the active immunity. Okay, then the next thing is about the passive immunity. The next thing is about the passive immunity. What is this passive immunity? See, passive immunity is nothing but where it is the process of generation of immune response by transferring the antibodies or antiserum. The process in which the immune response is developed by the transfer of antibodies or by the administration of antiserum. The process of development of immune response. What is passive immunity? It is a process of generation of an immune response by the transfer of antibodies or by the administration of antiserum. See, antibodies are produced, may be produced in one person and it get transferred to other person. Whereas antiserum, it may be produced in some animal, okay, and that antiserum is taken out and it is purified, okay. Thereafter, it is injected to a human being. Okay, for example, like antitoxins, for example, for the snake bite. Okay, so the serum, it is nothing but the plasma that is taken out from the person, or it is taken out from an animal, okay, or the antibodies, the generated antibodies which are transferred to one person to another person. So that is what is called as passive immunity. So here the immune response is rather rapid when compared to the active immunity. Active immunity ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಂಟಿಜನ್ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು, ಇಲ್ಲ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನೇಷನ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ಅವಾಗ ಇಮ್ಯೂನ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಬಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ದ ಆಂಟಿಬಾಡೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ one person to another person. What is passive immunity? Passive immunity is nothing but It is the generation of an immune response when person is transferred with the antibodies or when transferred with the anti-serum. Directly the antibodies or the anti-serum will be transferred to the person body. It will generate immediate response. It doesn't take time. Immediately the body will generate the responses. For example, when for snake bite, when venom is entered into our body, immediately the doctors will administer the anti-venom. Okay, so where anti-venom is nothing but it is fighting against the poison or the venom that is found in the snake, isn't it? So what has entered into our body, so the anti-venom that directly fight against that. It means the passive immunity that will generate the immediate response. The best example for this one, the passive immunity, it is a transfer of antibodies from mother to the young one, mother to the neonat. It means where the antibodies get transferred from mother to fetus through the placenta, you know that the IgG type of antibody, so that can passes across the placenta, that is immunoglobulin G, IgG, where it transfers across the placenta. So this is also a best example for the passive immunity, because the antibodies which are produced in mother's body, where they get transferred to the fetus or they get transferred to the infant. Okay, and also the major antibody like IgA, it gets transferred to the infant through the colostrum. Colostrum is nothing but the early milk that is produced during early stages of lactation, during early days of lactation, an yellow colored milk which is rich with the vitamins and which is rich with the antibody, where that get transferred from one person to another person. Here two persons are involved here, isn't it? One is a mother, another one is an infant. Where the antibodies which are produced in the mother's blood, which is produced in the mother body, they get transferred to the fetus or they get transferred to the young one, either through the placenta in first condition, that is to the fetus, and whereas through the breast milk in second condition, that is IgA, and even the IgG also present in the breast milk. Both of them, they get transferred to the fetus, they get transferred to the infant or the neonat, so where that will generate the immediate response in the person's body. Immediate response who receives the antibodies or who receives the anti-serum from outside. Hence, passive immunity, it is nothing but it is a direct transfer of antibodies. Direct agi ಇಲ್ಲಿ antibodies transfer ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಆಂಟಿ-ಸೀರಮ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತವೆ. ಸೊ ಅದರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಬಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಆಂಟಿಬಾಡೀಸ್ ನ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೋ that person will generate the immediate response for the particular type of disease, or it may fight against the other kind of diseases. So snake venom ಹೇಳಿದೆ ನಾನು, anti-venom or antidote that is immediately given to the person who is bited with the snake. So where the body will that can fight against directly against the toxin, isn't it? Similarly, the antibodies, they may get transferred from mother to the young one through the breast milk, or they get transferred from mother to the fetus through the placenta. So that is the best example for passive immunity. Okay, suppose if the antibodies are transferred from mother to the young one, it is considered as a natural passive immunity. When the already synthesized or produced antibodies, that is anti-serum in other animals, okay, which is taken out and it is injected to the person, that is what is called as artificial passive immunity. Okay, so there are two major kinds here in case of active immunity. One is the acquired immunity, one is active immunity, and another one is passive immunity. Ishte difference. Acquired immunity andre body nalle antibodies generation agutte yavaga when we expose to antigens or when vaccination is done. The body is self generation of the antibodies. But whereas in case of the passive immunity, already formed antibodies are transferred, already produced there. Either they are produced in the mother's body and they get transferred from mother to the young one, that is a natural passive immunity, or they are produced in some other animal, in the body of some other animals, they were taken out and they were injected to the human being. So that is the artificial passive immunity. So whatever it may be, whether it is artificial or whether it is the natural passive immunity, so but in both of the types, either the antibodies or the anti-serum, they get transferred to from one person to another person. Okay, so that is what is called as the passive immunity. So in passive immunity, antibodies are transferred. In active immunity, antigens are entered into our body either naturally or by means of vaccination. Okay, so this is the concept of the two types in acquired immunity. One is the active immunity and another one is the passive immunity. So now I think you could make out the differences between the active immunity and the passive immunity. Okay, then the next process is about vaccination. The next concept is about vaccination. So what is this vaccination? Why it is needed? Yak ಬೇಕು vaccination? So nowadays you heard about the development of vaccine for COVID. isn't it? For coronavirus, there are different companies around the world. They are trying to develop vaccines for the coronavirus, isn't it? So then, what is this vaccine? A vaccine is any chemical substance that is having the ability to generate the immune response in a person. Why vaccine is administered? ಯಾಕೆ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು? Vaccination is a process of increasing the immune response. Process of increasing the immune response of a person, immune responses of a person to a particular antigen or a pathogen. What is the vaccination? Vaccination is nothing but it is a process of increasing the immune response of a person to a particular antigen or to a particular pathogen by giving a vaccine. So what is this vaccine? I will come to this later. So first you understand this one. What is vaccination? Vaccination is a process of administration of the vaccine. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನ್ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಸೊ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನೇಷನ್? ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಿಂಗ್ ದ ಇಮ್ಯೂನ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಪರ್ಸನ್. ಒಬ್ಬ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಇಮ್ಯೂನ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇಮ್ಯೂನ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ದ ಬಾಡಿ ಶುಡ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಂಟಿಬಾಡೀಸ್, more number of immune cells to a particular kind of antigen or to a particular kind of pathogen or to a particular disease. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಡಿಸೀಸ್ಗೆ ಅಥವಾ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಂಟಿಜನ್ಗೆ ರ್ಯಾಪಿಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಮ್ಯೂನ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಜನರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ಇಮ್ಯೂನ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ನ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್. ದಟ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನೇಷನ್. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಿಂಗ್ ದ ಇಮ್ಯೂನ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಟು ಎ ಪರ್ಸನ್ to a particular antigen or a pathogen. ಒಬ್ಬ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಂಟಿಜನ್ಗೆ ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ಯಾಥೋಜನ್ಗೆ ಇಮ್ಯೂನ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ಗೆ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಡನ್ ಬೈ ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಎ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಇನ್ಸರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಾವು ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನೇಷನ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ನ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ದೆನ್ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನ್? ಎ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್. ಐದರ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಎನಿ chemical substance that is having the ability to generate the immune response, or look at a vaccine. A vaccine is nothing but it is partially killed or attenuated or inactive. It is partially killed or attenuated or inactive antigen or a pathogen or their secretions. It may be their proteins or it may be their polysaccharides, whatever it may be. What is a vaccine? A vaccine is nothing but it is partially killed or it is attenuated. Means it is inactive. A vaccine means attenuation means the removal of the toxicity of that particular pathogen. It is usually harmless. It should be harmless. It should not cause disease. ಈಗ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನೇಷನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನ್ ನ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಇನ್ಸರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ it should not cause a disease. It should be harmless for a person who insert or who administer with the vaccine. ಯಾವ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನ್ ನ ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾರೋ ಅವ್ರ ಬಾಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ತರ ಡಿಫೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ನ ಕಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು, ಡಿಸೀಸಸ್ ನ ಕಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಹಾರ್ಮ್ಲೆಸ್. Then what is this vaccine? A vaccine is partially killed. Suppose a bacteria or a virus that is partially killed or its disease causing ability that is removed. Disease cause ಮಾಡುವಂತ ability ನ remove ಮಾಡಿರುವಂತದ್ದು. So hence it is partially killed or it is attenuated. Attenuated means its disease causing ability is removed. It is usually harmless. Then inactive. Okay, either it should be inactive. Inactive means its disease causing ability it may be removed or it is inactivated pathogen. So it may be the proteins of a pathogen or it may be any antigen which is found on the surface of a pathogen or it may be their secretions. Secretions means they secrete some of the substances, like it may secrete some toxic substances, whatever it may be. It may be their secretions, the chemical substances which is secreted by these organisms, by these pathogens. They are in the inactive form. They do not cause any disease. They should not cause any disease, but they should generate the immune response. Remember this thing. They should generate the immune response. It should not cause a disease, but it should generate the immune responses. It should generate the immune response. Okay. So what is this vaccine? A vaccine, it may be partially killed. It means the organism, the disease-causing organism, it may be partially killed by means of heat or by means of treating with the chemicals, whatever it may be, or by treating with the radiations, whatever it may be. The pathogen should be partially killed, or it may be inactive, means it is attenuated. Its disease-causing ability is totally removed, or totally inactivated. That is attenuated. That is nothing but the harmless or inactive antigen. Antigen means the surface molecules which are found on the surfaces of the pathogens, or the pathogen means the partially killed or attenuated pathogen or their secretion. See, some of the pathogens, for example, like the tetanus, okay, the tetanus bacterium, Clostridium tetani. So where it secretes some toxic substances, some poisonous substances. So those toxic substances or poisonous substances, they should be inactive. Okay, such forms, such inactive form of the pathogen or the antigen or their secretions are administered into the body. They should not live. It means they should not active. Suppose active ಆಗಿರೋದನ್ನ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಡೆಫಿನೆಟ್ಲಿ ದ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಸಫರ್, ಪರ್ಸನ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ದ ಡಿಸೀಸ್, isn't it? ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗಿರಬೇಕು? ದ ವೈರಸ್, ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ದ ವೈರಸ್ ಆರ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ದ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾ, ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ, ಆರ್ ದೇರ್ ಸೆಕ್ರೀಷನ್ಸ್, ಆ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾಸ್ ಇಂದ ಬಂದಿರೋಂಥ ಸೆಕ್ರೀಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ, it should be in an inactive state, or it should be in a killed state, or partially killed state, or in an attenuated state. Okay, so that should generate, that should not cause a disease, but it should generate the immune response. ನಾವು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋಂಥ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇಮ್ಯೂನ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಜನರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಡಿಸೀಸ್ ನ ಕಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು. Okay, so that is the aim of a vaccine. That is the aim of giving vaccination. The process of administering of vaccine or administration of vaccine is what is called as vaccination. ಆ process ನ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? Vaccination ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. So the concept of vaccination that was first given by Edward Jenner. So you know that the concept of vaccination was first given by Edward Jenner. That's why he is known as father of vaccination. Edward Jenner, who first given the concept of vaccination. So by taken out the samples from the milkmaids who are infected with the cowpox virus. Cowpox virus. So where Edward Jenner, what he did, he taken out the samples from the pustules. Pustules means the small elevations found on the ಚಿಕ್ಕದಾಗಿ ಗುಳ್ಳೆಗಳಾಗಿರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಅದರಿಂದ ತಗೊಂಡಿರೋಂಥ sample, like the watery sample taken out from the milkmaids ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು ಹಾಲು ಕರಿತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅವರು, milkmaids infected with the cowpox virus. Cowpox virus ಇಂದ ಯಾರು ಇನ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರು, cowpox virus ಇಂದ ಇನ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರೋಂಥ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರಿಂದ ಸ್ಯಾಂಪಲ್ ತಗೊಂಡು, that sample is injected to a 7-year-old boy, okay, where the body of that boy has generated the immunity or immune response to the smallpox. He identified one thing, where the persons who are infected with the cowpox virus, they doesn't get smallpox. ಯಾರು cowpox virus ಇಂದ ಇನ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರು ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ smallpox ಕಾಣಿಸ್ಕೋತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. So he identified that thing. So that what he did, he taken out the sample from the persons who are infected with the cowpox virus. Usually cowpox, does not cause a serious damage when compared with the smallpox virus. So there are lots of people, millions of people, they died because of this. So what he did, he selected the sample from the person who is infected with the cowpox virus. Then it is injected to the person, other healthy person. He inject the sample to a healthy person directly. So usually he selected a 7-year-old boy. So thereafter he developed immunity or resistance power against the smallpox virus, though the person is injected with the live smallpox virus. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಲೈವ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ಪಾಕ್ಸ್ ವೈರಸ್ ನ ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ಪಾಕ್ಸ್ ಬಂದಿರೋರಿಂದ ಸ್ಯಾಂಪಲ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಆ ಸ್ಯಾಂಪಲ್ ನ ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಯಾರು ರೆಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಯಾರ ಬಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ಅವ್ರ ಬಾಡಿ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ಪಾಕ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ರೆಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಯಿತು. Okay, so that is the first thing he did, that is Edward Jenner. Later on, he continued the same procedure. Okay, so what he did, he selected the sample from the person who is infected with the cowpox virus, then it is injected to a healthy person. Thereafter, the body of the healthy person that will generate the immune response, means it produces antibodies. Then the person is again injected with the smallpox virus, it doesn't get the disease. From then, the concept of vaccination that has arisen. Okay, so that is by the contribution of Edward Jenner, who invented vaccination for smallpox virus. Okay, then the next thing is, and then the next person is Louis Pasteur. So you know the contribution of Louis Pasteur. Okay, so Louis Pasteur, he selected the aged colonies of cholera bacteria. Aged colonies of cholera bacteria. Okay, so then he injected that into chicken fowls. And where these chicken fowls, they developed immunity or resistance power against this cholera bacteria. The aged colonies of cholera bacteria. Okay, so where that bacterial samples were injected to the chicken fowls, where the chicken fowls, they developed the resistance against this particular cholera bacteria. Okay, andre ಇಲ್ಲಿ aged colony ಆಗಿದೆ bacterial cells ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, they do not have the ability to cause a disease. They have lost the disease causing ability. So that the aged colonies of those bacterial cells, they were selected and they were injected to the healthy organisms, and those organisms, the animals, they developed immunity against this cholera bacteria. Okay, so that is first contribution of Louis Pasteur. Thereafter, he designed a vaccine for rabies virus. Isn't it? So that is a major contribution of Louis Pasteur. He again tried this rabies vaccine on a 7-year-old boy who is bitten with the mad dog. So that is a contribution of Louis Pasteur. So where he tried rabies vaccine, he invented rabies vaccine. Okay. So similarly, around 1920s, there are lots of vaccines that have been entered into the market. It may be the vaccine for tuberculosis, or the vaccine for diphtheria, or rabies vaccine, or the vaccine for smallpox. Many vaccines, they has entered into the market. Okay, after the discovery by Edward Jenner and Louis Pasteur and some other scientists. Then the next thing is about the toxoids. What are these toxoids? Here, see, toxoids are nothing but the inactivated toxins. Toxin is nothing but, it is a poisonous substance that is secreted by the pathogenic organisms. So say in example like tetanus disease, the bacterium what is called as Clostridium tetani, this will produce the tetanus toxins. Okay, so these tetanus toxins, when they were live, they are very deadliest toxin substances. But when these toxins are inactivated, it means their disease causing ability, or they become harmless when they were injected into the body of a person. So where the person's body will generate the immune response or immunity. It means what are toxoids? Toxoids are nothing but the inactivated toxins. Their disease causing ability, that was totally removed, but they have immunogenicity. It means they have the ability to generate the immune response, but they fail to cause a disease, but they generate the immune response. So such toxic substances are what is called as toxoids. Toxoids are nothing but the inactivated toxins. Similarly, the best example for toxoids is the tetanus toxoids. Means the Clostridium tetani, a bacterium that produces the toxic substances, and that toxic substances is inactivated, and those inactivated toxins were injected to the body, and they were what is called as toxoids. The body will develop the immunity or the resistance power against this Clostridium tetani toxins. Okay, though when person counteract with the toxin, or when person counteract with the live bacterium in future, the body has already developed antibodies. That is because of the administration of toxoids. Okay, So it may be anti-venom also. It may be anti-venom also. Anti-venom means where the body, the body will develop the antibodies, or it will develop the immune cells against the particular venom or against a particular toxic substances. Okay, and it can be used in snake bites. So this can be used in case of snake bites. Idana snake bites idralli naave ಏನು ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, use ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. Okay. Okay. So usually the toxoids, where the toxic substances, they are inactivated by treating them with the formalin. By treating the toxic substances with the formalin, so where they get inactivated, and the administration of the toxoids that also generate immunity. ಅವಾಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ನಾನು. For example, Clostridium tetani bacteria ಇಂದ secretion ಆಗಂತ toxic substances ನ ಫಾರ್ಮಾಲಿನ್ ಜೊತೆ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇನ್ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಬ್ಬ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ his body will generate the immune cells or the immune response against the toxins of the Clostridium tetani bacterium. Okay, so that is about the toxoid. So this is also one of the way of generation of immune response. So it may be due to vaccination, or it may be due to the toxoids, or it may be due to anti-serum or serum. Okay, so by that the person's body will be immunized. So this is a process what is called as immunization. Ee process ನಾವು ಏನಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ, immunization ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. Immunization is nothing but the process of generation of immune response. We are making the person immune for a particular pathogen. ಅವಾಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ನಾನು vaccination ಹೇಳಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ immunization is nothing but it is a process of generation of immunity or the immune response for a particular pathogen or for a particular antigen. That process is what is called as immunization. Andre generating the immune response or generating the immunity or immune system of a person by injecting or by transferring either a vaccine or a toxoid, or it may be an anti-serum. There are different ways of developing the immunization or immunity in person's body. Okay, so the next thing is about the anti-serum. Snake venom anta nanu ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ, so ಅದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು anti-serum ಅಲ್ಲಿ. What is this anti-serum? Anti-serum is nothing but the antibodies which are produced in, or the molecules which are produced in the body of an animal. Usually it is taken out in the form of plasma. It is usually taken out in the form of plasma. Anti-serum, or it is simply named as serum. Serum is nothing but the collection of antibodies which were developed in an animal, and the plasma of that animal which is taken out, it is purified, it is characterized, then it is administered to a person. Suppose ಅವಾಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ನಾನು ಸ್ನೇಕ್ ವೆನಮ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ನೇಕ್ ವೆನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಆಂಟಿಡೋಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಂಟಿಡೋಟ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ anti-venom. Anti-venom is administered. So what they did here, usually what they do, see the very smaller concentrations of the snake venom, or any smaller concentration of any toxic substances that starts injecting to an animal. Okay, it may be the rabbit, or it may be the horse or pigs, whatever it may be. Okay, many experimental animals can be used here. In smaller concentrations, the venom or the toxic substances, they were injected to the body of those animals. It should be in smaller concentration, not should be in a larger concentration. So what will happen later, the body of those animals will produce the antibodies. Okay, and that is what is called as an anti-serum. That is regarded as an anti-serum for that particular antigen or that particular toxic substances that has entered their body. Thereafter, that serum or the plasma of those animals which were taken out, they were purified and they were characterized and they were administered into a person who is bitten with a snake. So where snake anti-venom is given for those person. Okay, it means for particular snake. For example, if the person is bitten with the kite or viper or with the cobra, particular anti-venom will be there. For that reason, the identification of snakes, that is also very important. It means to check which venom has entered into the person's body. So the anti-serum or the serum, that is nothing but the already formed antibodies in the animal bodies. It may be the horse, or it may be the pig, or it may be rabbit, whatever it may be, the animal, the experimental animal. So where the animal bodies were injected with the toxic substances in a very least concentration for longer days. After that, their body will generate the antibodies, and those antibodies will found in the plasma of those animals, and that plasma is taken out and it is purified, characterized. Thereafter, it is transferred or injected to the person who is bited with the snake, or it may be for diphtheria, or it may be for tetanus also. Okay, so that is what is called as anti-serum, or simply named as a serum. So these are the ways by which the person may become immunized, either by administering the vaccine, or by administering the toxoids, or by means of anti-serum. By these ways, the person will become immunized. Immunized means develops immunity or immune response for a particular antigen or for a particular pathogen. Okay. Okay, so that's all about the vaccination or immunization. It is also considered as immunization. Then the next thing is about organ transplantation and antibodies. See, in cases of skin grafts, it means the skin is taken out from one person, it may be transferred to the other person in case of skin grafting, or in case of organ transplants. The organ transplants means the organs which are taken out from the body of one person to then transferred to the donor. It may be the kidney, or it may be liver, or it may be heart, whatever it may be. In case of organ transplantation and also in cases of skin grafting, one major thing is that is human leukocyte proteins. Human leukocyte proteins, they should be matched. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಒಬ್ಬ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಇಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಆರ್ಗನ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಸಪೋಸ್ ದ ಕಿಡ್ನಿ ಇಸ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಂಟೆಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಒನ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಟು ಅನದರ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್, ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ರೆಸಿಪಿಯೆಂಟ್ ಟು ದ ಡೋನರ್ ಟು ದ ರೆಸಿಪಿಯೆಂಟ್. Okay, then the organ, the transplanting organ and the person's blood group, where the histocompatibility should be matched. Histocompatibility ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಟಿಶ್ಯೂ ಕಂಪ್ಯಾಟಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಈಗ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಬ್ಬ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಇಂದ ಡೋನರ್ ಇಂದ ರೆಸಿಪಿಯೆಂಟ್ ಗೆ ನಾವು ಕಿಡ್ನಿನ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. ಈಗ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, the first thing, the blood group should be matched, isn't it? So after that only the blood transfusion will be made. Without matching up the particular blood group, the blood will be not transfused from one person to another person. Okay, ಅಂದ್ರೆ without testing the blood, we are not transfusing the blood. ಅಂತದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗನ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ, ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೀವಿ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಇಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪರ್ಸನ್ಗೆ, ಡೋನರ್ ಇಂದ ರೆಸಿಪಿಯೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, that everything should be checked before transferring an organ. Okay, because organs are very vital, they are very important. It should not be destroyed while transferring or after transferring. That is very important. Okay, hence ಈಗ ಆರ್ಗನ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಂಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೀವಿ. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆರ್ಗನ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಂಟೇಷನ್? ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ದ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ಗನ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ರೆಸಿಪಿಯೆಂಟ್, ಫ್ರಮ್ ಡೋನರ್ ಟು ರೆಸಿಪಿಯೆಂಟ್. ಡೋನರ್ ಇಂದ ರೆಸಿಪಿಯೆಂಟ್ ಗೆ ಆರ್ಗನ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಆರ್ಗನ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೀವಿ ಅಥವಾ ಸ್ಕಿನ್ ಗ್ರಾಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಮೇಜರ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ, ವಿ ಶುಡ್ ಚೆಕ್ ಹಿಸ್ಟೋಕಂಪ್ಯಾಟಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ. ಹಿಸ್ಟೋಕಂಪ್ಯಾಟಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಆರ್ಗನ್ಸ್ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಪ್ಯಾಟಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ, ರೆಸಿಪಿಯೆಂಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಡೋನರ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ರೆಸಿಪಿಯೆಂಟ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಎರಡರ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಆರ್ಗನ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅಥವಾ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಕಂಪ್ಯಾಟಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇದೆಯಾ, ಟಿಶ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಕಂಪ್ಯಾಟಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಯಾವುದೋ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆರ್ಗನ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೀವಿ ಅಥವಾ ಸ್ಕಿನ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಟೇಕನ್ ಆಸ್ ಫಾರಿನ್. Okay, the body doesn't taken as its own. When it is coming from outside, our body treat that organ as a foreign one. So then the immune system will be generated in our body. Our immune system will destroy those organs which are taken from outside. That's why the first thing we should check whether there is a compatibility between the two persons, whether there is a compatibility between the tissues of the donor and the recipient. That is what is called as histocompatibility. This is very much necessary, and that will be decided by from some group of proteins or some group of antigens, what is called as human leukocyte proteins or human leukocyte antigens. Both are same. Human leukocyte proteins and human leukocyte antigens. So they are very important in deciding the transplantation of the organs from donor to the recipient. Okay, ಅಂದ್ರೆ histocompatibility, tissues ಮಧ್ಯೆ ನಾವು compatibility ನ ನೋಡಬೇಕು. ಆ compatibility ನೋಡ್ದೇನೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಆರ್ಗನ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಬರಲ್ಲ. So hence histocompatibility is very much necessary, and where they are decided by some proteins, what is called as human leukocyte proteins or human leukocyte antigens. And also MHC, MHC is nothing but major histocompatibility complex. Major histocompatibility complex. So this is very important. MHC. This is deciding whether the transplanted organs to be accepted or to be rejected. Andre idu decide ಮಾಡುವಂತ factor ಯಾವುದು MHC, major histocompatibility complex. ಅವಾಗ ಹೇಳಿದಾನೆ histocompatibility ಅಂದ್ರೆ matching, the tissue should be matched. So the deciding factor is MHC. MHC means major histocompatibility complex. This is a deciding factor to accept the organ or to reject the organ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ acceptability reaction ಆಗೋದು, rejection reaction ಆಗೋದು ಎರಡು ಇದರಿಂದನೇ, ಅದು major histocompatibility complex ಇಂದ. So the genes which are responsible for this, which are found on chromosome number 6, chromosome 6 ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರುವಂತ genes ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ, the genes which are deciding the histocompatibility, that is producing the major histocompatibility complex, they were majorly found on chromosome number 6. They will decide whether the organ to be accepted or it to be rejected. Sometimes even after matching all this histocompatibility process, when after matching the human leukocyte proteins or antigens, when all the conditions are favorable, sometimes there is a chances of rejection, because our body will overreact. So hence the immune system that should be suppressed to avoid rejection of the organ. So what are MHCs? MHCs are nothing but major histocompatibility complexes, and their genes which are majorly located on the chromosome number 6, and they will decide whether the organ to be accepted or whether the organ to be rejected. Okay, so that were majorly detected by or recognized by MHC, and also by means of human leukocyte antigens or human leukocyte proteins. Okay, their genes located on chromosome number 6, remember. So after transplanting an organ, the recipient's body should be injected with immunosuppressants. The recipient's body should be injected with immunosuppressants. Immunosuppressants, they are nothing but the molecules, the chemical substances or the molecules or the drugs which reduces the immune response. Because ಈಗ foreign organ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಬಾಡಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, that will immediately start fighting against that. It start producing the antibodies, it start producing the immune response against that particular organ what we receive. So that the doctors usually what they do, they inject immunosuppressants. It means to avoid the rejection of the organ. To avoid organ rejection avoid ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ the body is administered with the immunosuppressant. Say as for example cyclosporine A. Say for an example the molecule and the best immunosuppressor is cyclosporine A. This is an immunosuppressor. Okay, and this can be used as to suppress the immune system or to suppress the immune response of the recipient body. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆರ್ಗನ್ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಆರ್ಗನ್ ರಿಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಇಮ್ಯುನೋಸಪ್ರೆಸರ್ ನ ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾವಾಗ ಇಮ್ಯುನೋಸಪ್ರೆಸರ್ ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೋ ಅವಾಗ ಬಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇಮ್ಯೂನ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇಮ್ಯೂನ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದೆನ್ ದ ರಿಜೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆರ್ಗನ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಅವಾಯ್ಡೆಡ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ಆರ್ಗನ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಂಟೇಶನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಆಂಟಿಬಾಡೀಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ದಿಸ್. Then the next and important thing is about the allergy. This is important here. It will ask for 2 or 3 marks. Allergy. What is this allergy? You commonly heard this term, allergy. I am allergic to this one. I am allergic to dust. I am allergic to pollen grains. I am allergic to cotton fabrics. I am allergic to scent. See, every individuals, they may be allergic to some of the things. Sometimes the doctors will ask you, so whether you are comfortable with penicillin or not. It means whether you are allergic to penicillin or not. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪೆನ್ಸಿಲಿನ್ ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಕನ್ಫರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾರೆ, ನೀವು ಪೆನ್ಸಿಲಿನ್ ಅಲರ್ಜಿಕ್ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ಮುಂಚೆ ಯಾವಾಗಲಾರು ಪೆನ್ಸಿಲಿನ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾರೆ, ಕನ್ಫರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾರೆ. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಪೆನ್ಸಿಲಿನ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೆ, ಈ ತರ ಆಗಿತ್ತು, ಏನೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ದೇ ಯೂಶುವಲಿ ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಪೆನಿಸಿಲಿನ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಪೆನಿಸಿಲಿನ್ ಮೇ ಕಾಸ್ ಅಲರ್ಜಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಕಾಮನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಡಸ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಮೆನಿ ಪೀಪಲ್ it is very much common for them dust allergy, isn't it? Similarly, the hairs of some animals, okay, or the scent. Some people are allergic to scent. are allergic to some kind of food, allergic to some kind of oils what we use, allergic to some kind of creams or body lotions. Okay, so then what is this allergy? Allergy is nothing but it is a hypersensitive immune response. Hypersensitive. ತುಂಬಾ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿರುವಂಥ ಇಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹೈಪರ್ ಆಗಿ ಸೆನ್ಸಿಟಿವ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹೈಪರ್ ಸೆನ್ಸಿಟಿವ್ ಇಮ್ಯೂನ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್, ಇಮ್ಯೂನ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಟು a foreign substance. Hypersensitive immune response to a foreign substance, usually remember, usually which is harmless, usually which is harmless to other individuals, other person or other individuals, usually which is harmless to other individuals. So that is what is called as an allergy. What is an allergy? An allergy is a hypersensitive immune response to a foreign substance. It means it should come from outside to a foreign substance, usually which is harmless to other individuals. Suppose ಈಗ ನನಗೆ I am not allergic to pollen grains ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಓಕೆ, ನಂದೇ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಈಗ I am not allergic to pollen grains, consider. But the other person ಪೋಲನ್ ಗ್ರೈನ್ ಅಲರ್ಜಿ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು ಅನ್ನೋದೇನಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಥವಾ ಪೋಲನ್ ಗ್ರೈನ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಅಲರ್ಜಿ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು ಅನ್ನೋದೇನಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದನ್ನೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು, ಹೈಪರ್ ಸೆನ್ಸಿಟಿವ್, ಸಮಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ದ ಇಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ವಿಲ್ ಓವರ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾಂಡ್, ದ ಬಾಡೀಸ್ ಇಮ್ಯೂನ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ವಿಲ್ ಓವರ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾಂಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್, ದೋ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಹಾರ್ಮ್ಫುಲ್ ಟು ದ ಅದರ್ಸ್. ದೋ ಅದು ಹಾರ್ಮ್ಫುಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಓವರ್ ಆಗಿ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಅಲರ್ಜಿ. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಲರ್ಜಿಕ್ ಟು ಪೋಲನ್ ಗ್ರೈನ್ಸ್, ಬಟ್ the other person, some XYZ person, may be allergic to the same pollen grain. Pollen grain does not cause any harm in my body, but the pollen grain, it may cause the harm in others' body, where their body thought this pollen grain, of course it is a foreign substance, but their immune system will hyperly reactive or hyperly active, or overly it reacts for those molecules, though it is not harmful to my body. ಈಗ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಪ್ಯಾಥೋಜನ್ಗೆ ಅಲರ್ಜನ್ಗೆ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಪ್ಯಾಥೋಜನ್ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಈಗ ಟ್ಯೂಬರ್ಕ್ಯುಲೋಸಿಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾ, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹಾರ್ಮ್ಫುಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಮೀ ಆಲ್ಸೋ, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹಾರ್ಮ್ಫುಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅದರ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಓಕೆ, ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಫಾರ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ, ಇಸಂಟ್ ಇಟ್? ಈಗ ನನಗೆ ಟ್ಯೂಬರ್ಕ್ಯುಲೋಸಿಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾ ಹಾರ್ಮ್ಫುಲ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರಿಗೂ ಹಾರ್ಮ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಮಿಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಮೀ ಟು ಅದರ್ಸ್, ಇಸಂಟ್ ಇಟ್? ದ ವೈರಸಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ಹಾರ್ಮ್ಫುಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಈಚ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎವರಿ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್, ದ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ಹಾರ್ಮ್ಫುಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಈಚ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎವರಿ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಹೈಪರ್ ಸೆನ್ಸಿಟಿವಿಟಿ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೆಯಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ? ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಮನ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಹಾರ್ಮ್ಫುಲ್ ಟು ಆಲ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ಸ್. The virus or the bacteria, because they are the pathogens, they have the ability to cause a disease. But an allergen, it is a foreign substance, it may not be harmful to the other person, but our body, sometimes it hyperly or it will overreact. That is what is called as allergy. What is an allergy? An allergy is a hypersensitive immune response to a foreign substance, usually which is harmless to the other individual. ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ಗೆ ಆ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಹಾರ್ಮ್ಲೆಸ್ ಇದ್ರೂ ಸಹ, ಯಾವುದೇ ತರ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಸಹ, ಕೆಲವು ಸಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿ ಹೈಪರ್ ಸೆನ್ಸಿಟಿವ್ ಇಮ್ಯೂನ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ನ ಶೋ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಅಲರ್ಜಿ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಹೈಪರ್ ಸೆನ್ಸಿಟಿವ್ ಇಮ್ಯೂನ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಟು ಎ ಫಾರಿನ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್, ಯೂಶುವಲಿ ವಿಚ್ ಈಸ್ ಹಾರ್ಮ್ಲೆಸ್ ಟು ಅದರ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್. ಯೂಶುವಲಿ ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅದು ಹಾರ್ಮ್ಲೆಸ್ ಇದ್ರೂ ಸಹ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಆಗದೆ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಸಮಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಹೇಟ್ ಸಮ್ ಫುಡ್, it means they may be allergic to us. ಈಗ penicillin ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಗಲೇಬೇಕನ್ನೋದಿಲ್ಲ. That's why the doctors will ask you before injecting penicillin whether you are comfortable with penicillin or not. Suppose if you say I have taken penicillin previously, so my body has shown these kind of reactions, so that definitely they will avoid penicillin. Not only penicillin, some different antibiotics also. Usually penicillin will be allergic to some person. It may be the other molecules like pollen grains, or it may be the dust particles, or it may be the hairs of some pet animals like the cat or the dog, whatever it may be. Sometimes some cloths may be allergic to some person, like nylon cloths or the cotton cloth, whatever it may be. And the scent or the nail polishes or the lipsticks or the body lotions or the body creams may become allergic for the persons, and that is what is called as the allergy. It is a hypersensitive immune response. And remember, the molecule or the substance which causes allergy, that is what is called as an allergen. What is an allergen? An allergen is a substance. An allergen is a substance that induces allergy. that induces allergy or that induces hypersensitive immune response. What is an allergen? An allergen is a substance that induces allergy or hypersensitive immune response. Hypersensitive immune response is what is called as an allergen. Adana allergen anta kariti. So examples for an allergen, it may be dust, or it may be pollen grain. It may be dust, or it may be pollen grain, or it may be spores of some organisms like fungi. Then it may be some cloth material, or it may be penicillin, or it may be body lotions. Avagale enen helide ella body lotions, or it may be some nail polishes. Okay, like this. So these molecules, they become allergic, and even some food, okay, some kind of foodstuffs, they are allergic to, they cause allergy, and those molecules are what is called as allergen. What is an allergen? An allergen is a substance that induces allergy. Allergy na induce ಮಾಡುವಂತಹ substance ಗೆ ನಾವು allergen ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. So usually what happens in case of allergy, you know, the symptoms, the most common symptoms of allergy, it is sneezing. What are the symptoms of allergy? The most common symptoms of allergy is sneezing. Sneezing is the most common symptom of allergy. Then runny nose. It may be sometimes runny nose. This is also one of the common symptom of allergy. Then difficulty in breathing. Difficulty in case of asthma, you know, it may be asthma, it may be due to the dust, or it may be due to the hairs of some animals. It may cause, it means the construction of the bronchioles. Bronchioles ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, constriction ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ lungs ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರುವಂತ bronchioles ಚಿಕ್ಕದಾಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, constriction ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So difficulty in breathing. In such cases ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, breathing difficulties ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Difficulty in breathing. Sometimes the edema can be seen. Edema is nothing but the swelling. Edema can be seen. Sometimes the itchiness in the skin. Skin itchiness, skin rashes, then reddening of the skin. So these are some common symptoms of allergy. So then decrease in BP, low BP. So these are some common symptoms of allergy. Common agata symptoms, so sneezing, that is most common. Then runny nose, then difficulty in breathing. Suppose in case of asthma and other allergic reactions, so where the bronchioli, which is found in our lungs, they are constricted, andre chikkadagta hogutte. So then we face difficulty in breathing. Then edema means swelling. It may be localized or it may be spread to entire body. Andre inflammation anta karitivalla, ಒಂದು particular region ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಅದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಬಾಡಿ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಏನಾಗಬಹುದು, ಬಾಡಿ ಫುಲ್ ಸ್ವೆಲ್ ಆಗಬಹುದು, ಎಡಿಮಾ. Then itchiness, okay. Then rashes in the skin. Then reddening of the skin rashes ಆಗಬಹುದು, skin red ಆಗಬಹುದು. So some small elevations which may be produced on the skin, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಗುಳ್ಳೆಗಳಾಗಬಹುದು ಮೈಯಲ್ಲಿ. Then BP may be decreased, low BP in case of anaphylaxis. This is also one kind of allergy. Anaphylaxis. The rashes of the skin and the reddening of the skin, that is what is called as eczema. The skin rashes and the itchiness of the skin, the reddening of the skin, that is what is called as eczema. ಈ ಮೂರು ಏನಂತೀವಿ, itchiness, rashes, reddening ಆಗೋದನ್ನ eczema ಅಂತೀವಿ. Difficulty in breathing ಅಥವಾ breathlessness. Okay, so this is difficulty in breathing and breathlessness and low BP, that is the characteristic feature of anaphylaxis, a kind of allergy. And hay fever is nothing but it is a kind of allergic reaction to pollen grains and some spores. Pollen grains ಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ fungal spores ಗೆ allergen ಆದ್ರೆ, allergic ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ hay fever ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. Hay fever is nothing but allergic reaction to pollen grains or spores. It is what is called as hay fever. So where difficulty in breathing, that can be seen. Okay, because of constriction of bronchioles, it may result into asthma. So that is the function, that is the symptom of hay fever, means allergic to pollen grains or allergic to fungal spores. It is usually common in farmers. Okay, that is the hay fever. So these are some symptoms of allergy. And what are the major molecules? Remember these symptoms. And what are the major molecules which are produced during allergy? Allergic reaction ಆದಾಗ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಕ್ರೆಟ್ ಆಗಂತ ಮೇಜರ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಾಣುವಂತಹ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಯಾವುದು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಒಂದು ಹಿಸ್ಟಮೈನ್ಸ್ released by mast cells and also serotonin. Histamines and serotonin and along with the major antibody that released during allergy is IgE. Remember, histamines and serotonin are the chemical substances released during allergy. ಯಾಕೆ histamines release ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು allergen enter ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, that will bind with the mast cells in our body and it causes a lysing of the mast cells. Mast cells ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಲೈಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಲೈಸ್ ಆಗಿ the mast cells will release as histamines. histamines ನ ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾವಾಗ ಹಿಸ್ಟಮೈನ್ ಸೆಕ್ರೇಷನ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಆವಾಗ ಸ್ಕಿನ್ ರ್ಯಾಷಸ್ ಆಗೋದು, ರೆಡಿನಿಂಗ್ ಆಗೋದು, ಎಡಿಮಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಆಗುವಂಥದ್ದು, ಇನ್ಫ್ಲಮೇಷನ್ ಬರುವಂಥದ್ದು ಮೇಜರ್ ರೀಸನ್ ಹಿಸ್ಟಮೈನ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸೆಸ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಬಾಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಸೆರೋಟೋನಿನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ವೆಸಲ್ಸ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಡೈಲೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ವೆಸಲ್ಸ್. ಇಟ್ ಕಾಸಸ್ ದಿ ಡೈಲೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ವೆಸಲ್ಸ್ ಡೈಲೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸರ್ಫೇಸಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರೆಡನಿಂಗ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ಕಿನ್ ರೆಡನಿಂಗ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಸ್ವೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಆ ತರ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Then IgE, that is a major antibody. Remember, 1 marks ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಇದನ್ನ, which antibody is seen during allergy ಅಂತ. That is IgE, that is a major antibody. Excess or its secretion will be more in cases of allergy. Histamine, serotonin and IgE. Histamine is released from mast cells. Okay, and IgE this is an antibody that increases during allergy. Allergic reaction will increase ಆಗುವಂತ antibody molecule IgE. Okay, so how to reduce this allergy? First, the person will be diagnosed for which is an allergen. ಯಾವುದು allergen ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ diagnose ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, after diagnosing the allergen, the medications will be given. Usually antihistamine drugs will be given. Antihistamine drugs will be given. Antihistamine drugs will be given means histamine secretion ನ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ಅಲರ್ಜಿಕ್ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ರಿಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಂಟಿ ಹಿಸ್ಟಮೈನ್ ಡ್ರಗ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ದ ಅಲರ್ಜೆನ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಡಯಾಗ್ನೈಸ್ಡ್. ಯಾವ ಅಲರ್ಜೆನ್ ಡಯಾಗ್ನೈಸ್, ಯಾವುದು ಅಲರ್ಜೆನ್, ಯಾವುದು ಅಲರ್ಜಿ ಕಾಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಯಾವುದು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಡಯಾಗ್ನೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಡಯಾಗ್ನೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ದ ಆಂಟಿ ಹಿಸ್ಟಮೈನ್ ಡ್ರಗ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಗಿವನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ ಅಲರ್ಜಿ. ದಿಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅನ್ ಅಲರ್ಜಿ? ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎ hypersensitive immune reaction, though the substance is harmless to other individual. So you have studied, you know the causes of allergy. It is mainly caused by the allergen. Allergen, it may be the pollen grain, or it may be the dust, or it may be the spores, or it may be the food, or it may be the drugs like penicillin, whatever it may be. So then they have studied the symptoms of allergy and how it can be diagnosed. Okay, so this is about today's video, where you have studied about the active immunity and passive immunity and differences between them, then vaccination or immunization process, then we studied about allergy. Okay, so in next video we will discuss about the next concepts in this chapter, that is majorly the immune system of the body. Okay, thank you.